In the heart of the peaceful village of Clearwater, a charismatic farmer named Daniel was admired for his charm and hard work. His crops flourished year after year, and his smile seemed to brighten even the cloudiest days. Women in the village couldn't help but be drawn to him, captivated by his wit and good looks. However, Daniel's charisma was a double-edged sword. His charm led to whispers and knowing glances. While some admired his magnetic personality, others were uneasy about how easily he connected with the women of the village. Daniel's reputation began to grow beyond his farming skills. Several women in the village, young and old, started to show signs of pregnancy, all with strikingly similar timing. When asked about the fathers, the answers were almost always the same: Daniel. The news spread like wildfire. Some villagers were amused, others shocked, and many outraged. The elders decided to summon Daniel for a council meeting to address the unfolding drama. In the council meeting, Daniel defended himself with confidence, claiming he had no ill intentions. "I care for everyone in this village," he said. "I've only offered comfort and love." The elders, however, were not swayed. They reminded him of the responsibility that comes with his actions. The head elder, a stern woman named Agnes, warned Daniel that his behavior could disrupt the harmony of the village. "Love is not just an act of pleasure, Daniel. It's a commitment," she said firmly. Despite the warnings, Daniel's behavior continued. He seemed almost addicted to the attention he received from the women. Many of the expectant mothers began to rely on him for support, but his resources and time were stretched thin. One day, a young woman named Chantal confronted him. "Daniel, do you see the burden you're leaving for us? Our children deserve fathers who will be present, not just providers of a name," she said. Chantal's words struck a nerve. For the first time, Daniel began to see the chaos he was creating. Children would soon be born into uncertainty, and families were beginning to fracture. Yet, his pride wouldn't let him admit fault openly. Meanwhile, the village buzzed with gossip. Some women regretted their involvement, while others sought to hold Daniel accountable for the future of their children. As the seasons passed, the once thriving fields of Clearwater began to falter. Daniel, overwhelmed with obligations, had neglected his farming duties. His crops withered, and his wealth dwindled. It became a metaphor for the growing tension within the community. Villagers began to resent him, blaming him for the discord. The harmony that once defined Clearwater seemed like a distant memory. Daniel decided to visit an old friend, a wise elder named Mzee Kato, who lived on the outskirts of the village. Mzee Kato listened patiently as Daniel poured out his frustrations and confusion. "You have scattered your seed carelessly, my boy," Mzee Kato said. "But seeds need nurturing, not just planting. It's time to take responsibility for the forest you've grown." Taking Mzee Kato's advice to heart, Daniel began visiting the women he had wronged. He apologized sincerely and vowed to do better. Some forgave him, while others remained skeptical. Chantal, however, challenged him further. "Words are not enough, Daniel. Show us through your actions that you mean to change," she said. Daniel decided to organize a village meeting. Standing before the entire community, he admitted his mistakes and asked for their guidance in making amends. "I have been selfish, and my actions have caused pain," he confessed. "Help me become a better man for this village." His vulnerability surprised many. It marked the beginning of a slow, cautious reconciliation. With the community's support, Daniel started a cooperative farming initiative. He brought the women together, encouraging them to take control of their livelihoods. The initiative provided not only food security but also a sense of empowerment for the mothers. The once failing fields of Clearwater began to flourish again. The villagers started to see hope amidst the chaos. Daniel also began spending time with the children he had fathered. He worked tirelessly to build relationships with them, playing, teaching, and providing for their needs. His efforts didn't go unnoticed. The children, despite the circumstances of their birth, began to thrive under his care and the collective support of the village. As the years passed, Clearwater began to heal. The cooperative farming initiative grew into a model for other villages, and the children raised by the community became symbols of resilience and unity. Daniel, though far from perfect, earned back the respect of many villagers. He became a vocal advocate for responsible relationships and the importance of family. Chantal, who had been one of Daniel's fiercest critics, started to see his transformation. She approached him one day and said, "You've come a long way, Daniel. But remember, the work of building trust never ends." Her words became a guiding principle for Daniel as he continued to rebuild his life and the relationships he had strained. The children grew into young adults, carrying the lessons of their upbringing. They became advocates for community, cooperation, and responsibility, inspired by the collective efforts of the village to raise them. Daniel took pride in their achievements, knowing that his mistakes had ultimately led to a stronger, more united Clearwater. One evening, as the sun set over the vibrant fields of the village, Daniel sat surrounded by his children and the women who had once harbored resentment toward him. They laughed, shared stories, and celebrated their shared journey. Clearwater had not only survived the storm but had come out stronger. Daniel had learned the true meaning of responsibility and love, and the village had found unity in adversity. Moral of the story: actions have consequences, and true love requires responsibility and care. Redemption is possible through humility, accountability, and the support of a community willing to forgive and rebuild.